And we are back, folks, for another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider. The Wolverines continue to set the bar very high when it comes to top talent making their way to Ann Arbor this spring, an unprecedented level of talent. It is amazing to see how the Wolverines continue to stack it at a very high level. And on defense especially, I will lay it down one more time. And I say you have never seen it like this. Yes, the Wolverines have had great talent across the board, but not like this year, where more talent than ever before has made it across the Schembechler Hall threshold. And this day, right here on set, inside the TMI Studio, is one of the top linebackers in the country, a top 247 talent out of Owings Mills, Maryland, McDonogh School. Nick Abrams is with us. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing really good.
All right, so the official ranking where they have you right now is the number 14 linebacker in the country. Now, watch your tape. I know a lot of guys don't really put a whole lot of stock in the rankings, but when I look at it, I said, man, if they're 13 better, I'd like to see them. Straight ball player. So I like to go back to the beginning and talk about your love of the game, how you got into it, and when you started to realize you loved it, and then when you started to realize, man, I don't just love it, I'm kind of better than a lot of these other guys out here. So let's get into all of that, Nick. First of all, how you doing, and then let's get into your love of the game.
Yes, I'm doing really good. I'm enjoying the visit, enjoying the weekend. But I really started playing tackle football at 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, I started playing flag when I was little. But my parents never really let me play tackle until 8th grade, where I started playing running back, receiver, and linebacker. So what really was my love for the game probably was watching the Ravens every Sunday, just watching how dominant the defense was and how trash the offense was sometimes. But that kind of started it. And then once I really got to play it with the pads on and feeling what they are feeling, the nerves and the excitement and the drive, that kind of fueled it is to where now I love the game. And then when I think the summer going into my junior year is kind of where I started to feel like my body's kind of starting to grow a little bit more. I'm starting to get a little stronger. And that's when I started like watching a little bit more film. And that's kind of where I started to realize that I'm probably better than a lot of guys out there, probably one of the best in the country. And my teammates kind of helped me through that. They taught to me about at the beginning of the year how there were some things where I wasn't giving enough effort, enough this and that, but it was kind of where towards they sat me down, was like, bro, you could be one of the best linebackers in the country, have offers from all across the country, just based off of your size and your ability. But if you put in the work and with the weight room and the conditioning and all that stuff, then it's going to elevate you and it's going to set you apart to all these other guys in the country. So that's kind of where I started to realize I was better. So
yeah, so your peers kind of did that. Like, look, man, if you take this more serious, you go to the top. Yeah, it's crazy how a lot of times it's not the coaches that do that for you. It's the dudes right next to you. Yeah. So the other thing that I find very interesting, a lot of the guys that have sat here and you talk about the dudes who maybe have really excelled as offensive guys, and then they make the transition to defense. I was like, how do you do that? Because I often think that defense is a mentality, but you grew up in the Baltimore area.
Yes, sir.
And so you grew up watching the Ravens.
Yes, sir.
So you got it that way, watching a team that's what they were built on was defense.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because a little bit about it was I was trying to, be the offense that would help the offense get better. But then my mom kept pushing me, you can play defense, you have the body. So then I started.
Oh, your mom was pushing you to play defense?
She was. So, but then I started really watching the film, and really Roquan Smith and Fred Warner, the two linebackers I watched the most, they kind of like, I know Fred Warner's kind of like my body type, long, athletic, can run. Roquan's just, he's kind of like the mini Ray Lewis. So it was just a matter of just watching their tape and really falling in love with the linebacker position. So.
All right, so I'm trying to get into the sort. It's kind of a little bit of a dichotomy here. So you don't play football early on.
Yes, sir.
But when you do,
Yes, sir.
Mom says, baby, go play defense.
Yes, sir.
Go hit somebody.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so once you get on that field
Yeah.
and you start playing defense and you really start taking it serious and you realize I'm pretty good at this. Now I want to get into the scouting report of, how you play, who you maybe model your game after, if anyone. So pretend for a second, I like to get guys to scout themselves.
Yeah.
Pretend for a second you're a coach or a scout in the stands. You're scouting Nick Abrams. So do that. Be that scout. Break down your game.
So first and foremost, starts with the mind. I always like to have that first, because without that, you can be as fast as you want, as strong as you want, explosive you want. If you can't see the play and you can't really make the play if you step late. So it starts with the film. My mom and everyone can attest to it. I be watching film like all day, almost sometimes in class too, just diagnosing, seeing the tendencies, seeing the alignment, what they like to run out of this on third down, third and long, third and medium, third and short, fourth and short, goal lines, breaking it down by the yard, like what yard line they are on, if they're on their side, all those kind of tendencies. And then just really the special plays, like kind of the plays that you never seen before, just trying to think where would I be, envision myself. And then it starts off with, I guess, my athleticism, being fast, long. I think I have 83-inch wingspan, so it's kind of easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it helps for me to just be able to, once I have the mental piece, I have the physical traits to be able to make the play and kind of look dominant doing it. And then just the leadership, that's something I know right now I'm trying to acquire, trying to be better at. But the leadership, just pulling guys aside, telling them what to do on this play, being able to be lead in that huddle and getting the guys going. That's probably another thing that they talk about. And just the versatility, being able to line up on the line of scrimmage, rush the passer, then be able to drop in coverage and catch picks or get pass breakups, and then stop the run and be kind of dominant in that fashion. So I feel like those are probably my abilities or my scouting report.
So is there a player in college or the pros that you compare yourself to, or people compare you to, or that you try to emulate?
Yeah, so with the mind piece, it's definitely Roquan Smith. Just seeing how he can calls out plays, and he's at the right place at the right time. And then kind of towards, I kind of spoke to it earlier, but towards my body type, kind of Fred Warner, just his ability to like run and fly through the air and make ridiculous plays is just something I try to like model my game after.
Yeah, so you talk about tendencies. That's a grown man tendency to watch film like that. So is that something that you just started to do, or did you pick that up from someone like a coach, or like where did you get that piece from?
I usually just started it. I used to watch all the time football videos of just, hardest hits or craziest catches, and then I kind of felt like, if I want to separate myself, just if I'm, don't have the physical traits, because I didn't have that back then, but I could do it with the mind and be able to, outwork people just with their mind. And so it kind of helped me. And then when I was able to grow into my body, it kind of set me apart from a lot of my teammates and then a lot of players that I play against. So I feel like that definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah, so you mentioned your 83-inch wingspan, but height, weight, 40, where are you at in your other measurables right now?
So right now, I'm 6'2", 220, I run a 4'5", 540.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely prototypical, and all of the aspects of the linebacker position is what the colleges want, which is why you're one of the most heavily recruited guys in the country. So where are you at as far as number of scholarships right now?
Right now, I have 30 full scholarships.
Yeah, so Nick, when you have that many, how do you even begin to narrow it down? Like, what are the factors that you consider when you say, hey, I want to make this more manageable?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for me was the development process, being able to put guys in the league, and I guess the school being proven to put linebackers in the league, and especially the first round, and then just not only develop me on the field, but as a man, what's going to shape me for the next, I guess a lot of colleges talk about the 40-year plan and how affects you and how they can do that for you. So that was a big thing for me. The brand, the networking, that was another big thing, being able to set me up for life after football and life after, I guess, the NFL. So being able to, walk into a room, I guess, and having a degree from a school, or being able to someone to recognize the logo on your sweatshirt. So that's another big thing for me. And then just the family atmosphere, the transparency, just letting me know where I am, where I need to be, not just how good and all that stuff, because that's cool and all, but the real growth is from where you don't know where you are, and the coach telling you need to be this, you need to do that to get where you want to be. So those are probably the three things I'm looking for in a school right now.
So before we get to talking about Michigan, just a couple of factors in your area. So you're at a school where I know, was Penn State your first offer?
Yes, sir.
So Penn State's your first offer.
Yeah.
They recruit your school really hard. I think you got a teammate.
Yeah.
That they came in and got. So how big is that familiarity in your recruitment? Because a lot of people just assume that they recruit you hard, they're your first offer, they got your first teammate.
Yeah.
They were your first offer, they got one of your teammates there.
Yeah.
Man, he's going to Penn State. So
Yeah.
what about the Penn State factor in your recruitment?
So Penn State's a really interesting school because you said once they were my first offer, they kind of really were the first school to give me a chance at playing college football. So I'm deeply gracious for that. They're definitely in my top 5. They're definitely a school I'm looking really hard at. Coach Franklin, I love him. The way he recruits, I guess, the area, and it speaks to how their success has taken off so far. Coming off of a semifinal appearance, almost playing for the college football championship. There's no secret that they're building something up there, and Coach Connor, the linebacker coach, has been real honest with me about how much they like me and what I could be in that situation, just being a Penn State linebacker. So Penn State's really good. Just definitely a school that I'm looking forward to learning more about and learning the scheme and how I fit and all that stuff.
So let's go back now to Michigan,
Yeah.
obviously. Coach BJ definitely identified you as a guy that was at the top of his board.
Yeah.
Did you sense that from the beginning? And give me your perspective on him as a man, as a guy that would be your position coach, and then of course him as a coach.
Yeah.
Now that you've gotten a chance to actually see him coach during the season, coach at a practice, those two aspects of him as your would-be position coach.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely made me feel like a priority, calling me, trying to figure out my schedule to when I'm best available, just letting me know that they've had a couple guys that are, kind of big ball players, but they're really looking forward to our visit and the way my family and the way they are and how they fit the mold of Michigan. So it's really good hearing that, just sitting there, listening to him give me, I guess, my step-by-step and availability, step-by-step journey, I guess, and how he wants me to progress. And it was good to, talk to him and break down film with him. So just kind of share my ball knowledge and try to talk a little ball. So, I feel like he's a great man. He says all the time about how putting his daughter into Michigan was really, really good for him, really gave him a new perspective. So just that piece. And then the football, the teaching, I was out there watching him teach, and he really pays attention to detail, really, kind of sits down with you and just tells you what you need to do and corrects you, and the guys respond to it. So that was really good to see. I can definitely see myself, learning from him and kind of playing for him. So it was really good to see that.
Coach Wink, did you you mentioned the Ravens? I mean, obviously the guy that was with the Ravens for a good period of time. So your thoughts on Coach Wink now that you've gotten a chance to see and meet him up close and personal?
Yeah, it's kind of surreal because he talks about how he used to coach Ray Lewis, and it's kind of a big deal in Baltimore. So it was good to just see him present, tell his story, and really see him at practice. How calm, laid back he is, and really just he's brought he has a lot of history, a lot of players he's coached, a lot of, Hall of Famers especially. So it's good to see that kind of him bringing that to college and how he can help the younger generation, get to where those guys want to be. So, I'm excited to, see him, and it's a fun defense to play in, especially with the linebackers where you can rush the passer on the outside, you can go blitz through A and B gap, or you be in zero. It's a very fun system, so I can't wait to learn more and see more how I fit in that.
And then, of course, the head coach, Coach Moore. So getting a chance to meet him and get to know him somewhat personally, your thoughts on him now that you've gotten a chance to do that.
Yeah, Coach Sherrone Moore is a great guy, great family man. We actually just got done talking to him. So, it was good to really experience like his philosophy and how he sees Michigan and the path he wants to take it. So, he reiterated, Coach BJ, how our family fits the mold and the mold he wants to kind of create for college football and the mold it's kind of like turning to. So it was great to just sit down and really pick his brain about what his plan for Michigan was, what kind of coach he is, the types of things he wants to implement, the types of things he wants his players to be towards him and stuff like that. So it was good to just, talk to him, because it's always good to know the head coach. It's always good to be able to come in and tell your coach whatever you need to tell him. So it was good to get that familiarity, and I'm looking forward to having many more conversations with him. So
I know it's kind of hard because you're kind of still in the moment, but as you kind of sit here right now, what has kind of stood out to you the most about Michigan?
Yeah, I guess the history, just kind of how the old school's blending in with the new school, how the new ideas are still complementing the old ideas. So that's another big thing for me. Tradition, you see it all around. Beat Ohio State, everything's to beat Ohio State. So it's kind of just learning that and really trying to embrace that. It's kind of good to see that and really just take a deep dive and digest it, because for me, I know family traditions, all that stuff, and it kind of plays into that. And also just seeing the intensity at practice, it's a Saturday. Some of the guys probably aren't trying to really get that work in, but they really came out and showed out and showed the intensity and really paid attention to detail and kind of had a good practice. So it was really good to see.
I wonder how much, Nick, as a top recruit, how much, again, you mentioned they beat Ohio State. How much something like that stands out to you? Because they're really like the only team in the Big Ten that can do it.
Yeah.
Like consistently.
Yeah.
And they did it last year, and they weren't even at full strength.
Yeah.
Like the offense, their best player on offense got put out the week before. They obviously all year they couldn't really. Quarterback play was really down. They were like a 4-touchdown underdog.
Yeah.
Their Will Johnson's out, like all their top defense, and they went out and they shut down, like really legit shut down the number one offense in the country, in their house, beat them down.
Yeah.
So Ohio State won the national championship, but it was the I can't beat Michigan national championship, right?
Yeah.
So it's the only team in the country that can smack Ohio State. Does that mean? But what does that mean to you as a recruit? Is that something that resonates, or is that something that you factor in, but not to a large extent?
Yeah. So I think it's, I guess, a little important just seeing not only just that they're winning, but how big it is and what it means. Sort of kind of like I tied it into that tradition part. Just, you take it so seriously, the game and the importance, the TVs, the cameras, and you see that and feel like, yeah, I want to be in that moment. Walking down on that 4th down stop, I want to be in that moment. Just being able to play that game and be able to see like what that moment feels like and really experience it, because it's a once in a lifetime moment. So I guess in a way it does kind of play a part, just seeing what that moment could do for not only just for you, but like your family and the team, just how big that will be for your just as a group. Just.
So backing away from Michigan, let's set schools aside now.
Yeah.
So you're backing away from any particular school. And you kind of touched on this a little bit when you were talking about how you narrow things down.
Yeah.
But now you've been to Michigan, you've been to Penn State a bunch of times, you got top schools, and all of them are looking good. Like, you like all the coaches.
Yeah.
You like all the top defenses. They're all putting guys in the first round, right? Good academics. Like, they all have a lot of positive attributes to put in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot harder to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
So now, what do you do? Now, what are the criteria that you use to pick the best school? Now, what are the biggest factors that you use to pick the place that you're going to go?
Yeah, so for me, it's relationships. College football is a lot of moving pieces, but relationships with the players, relationships with the culture that is set, it's kind of like where you can see yourself thriving. Where on your worst day would you want to be at? So just knowing that, and figuring out, like, I guess the football is cool, but you might not have the academics, or the academics are cool, but the football might not be up to par. Just figuring out what kind of balance you want, which kind of side you're willing to take, is really kind of what helps me narrow it down and gets me to a final decision.
Mm-hmm. When you go on the official visits, now that you've been to all of these places, what are you going to use those for? Like, what specifically are you going to be looking for? Is that going to be like your opportunity to spend more time with the players? Like, what's going to be different about those visits compared to what you're doing now on these unofficials?
Yeah, so I guess for me, official visits aren't really the end-all, be-all, but in terms of just what I get out of it, it would be more of just talking to the coaches and really sitting down and really, like, going through, I guess, my film, also looking at kind of the depth chart, stuff like that, really just sitting down and picking their brain about the scheme and all that stuff. And also kind of what you said about talking to the players, and when I go on that, hang out with them, just seeing the culture, the vibe of the city and the area I'll be in, just seeing a perspective they have and what the coaches have, and kind of just an unscripted sort of thing. We're not trying to sell, they're just being themselves, kind of that part. So that's definitely what I'm about using for.
All right, last couple for you. One question I didn't ask as far as factors, or two I didn't ask for you as far as factors.
Yeah.
I mentioned distance.
Yeah.
It was interesting that you said you're looking to get away.
Yeah.
You're looking to get away from home.
Yeah.
Far away? Because, mamas don't like their babies to go too far away from home. So is it, okay, you want to get away, but not too far away? So would you like to just get just out of state, but close enough? Yeah. Is that, how big of a factor will distance be for you?
It's not a factor at all.
At all?
No.
Not even a little bit?
Not at all.
Doesn't even factor into the equation a smidge. Okay.
No, sir.
All right. So what about NIL? That is, is an interesting story. It's a big story in the news right now about an NIL dispute, right? Yeah. So how much will NIL, to what degree will NIL factor into your recruitment? How much, it's part of every pitch. To what extent will you be looking at that as far as your factors?
So kind of what me and my family look at it is, yes, you're going to get paid by the university, but what is the school going to help you do to like incorporate your brand into it? How much exposure are you going to have? So I guess in that sense, that will play a big factor. Just how much can I make outside of just the school, but also what can I do to expose myself and be put in situations where people know my face, people see the name, they recognize it, kind of stuff like that. That's how me and my family are going to be using NIL. So, and to that question, yes, it's going to play a pretty big factor. Just being able to see what the university is going to do, what systems they have in place, what new things, what technology, what things we can be innovative with. Those are probably the things we have to look for.
I like that. All right, so now, as we wrap up, one of the things I like to do is sort of give guys like you the opportunity to recognize that you don't get here by yourself. All of this opportunity that you have, while it's God-given talent, hard work, that you've put in to get you here. You got a lot of people supporting you, especially like the people sitting in the back of the room that drive you places, grind with you, pick you up when you're down, right? Have helped you every step of the way and going to continue to help you every step of the way moving forward. So this is your opportunity to shout them out for all the support, love and support that they've given you along the way in this journey.
Yeah, so I like to thank, first and foremost, my parents, because without them, I wouldn't be in this world. Just support you've given me, the way you've taught me life lessons, whether I liked it or not, just being able to help me be the young man I am now. I like to thank my little brother Aiden for pushing me to be the best big brother I could be, trying to be my little mini-me, making me a better role model. So I know he's always watching, so I gotta be a better person. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Coach Shule for giving me the opportunity to play for McDonogh football. Without that, I'd still probably be at Loyola. Wouldn't be as good as a player I would be as I am today. I just want to thank him for that. I want to thank Coach Jake for getting me right in the weight room, getting me bigger, so all the stuff on the field becomes even more natural. I like to have a special thanks to Courtney Green for training me and really kind of being the guy that helped me get to where I am now. Just in terms of he DM'd me on Instagram saying you want to work out. He worked out a couple of my teammates, so I was like, why not? And you know, coming back that junior year, I noticed a complete difference in my ability, and he kind of tapped that potential that I didn't know I had. So I want to thank him. I want to thank all my aunts and uncles for all the love and support y'all have given me. I want to thank my little cousins for checking on me and being the best cousins they could be, and especially Olivia, you know, trying to be my marketing manager. I appreciate that as well. And then just all my friends, all the support you've given me. Oh, and Lauren, thank you for the support you've given me. You know, thank you for being my comfort and my, I guess, my rock in terms of just support when I need it and when I'm down. So thank you. I appreciate all y'all.
All right, man. So if we want to come down and watch you do your thing on the field, give us a couple of games on the schedule, a couple of big games on the schedule that McDonogh is going to have this year where we should circle to come down and come see you do your thing.
Yeah, so the first game you guys should all come to is the McDonogh Spalding game at McDonogh. I guess they're ranked top 7. I don't really agree with that ranking, but they won the games they needed to, so I feel like it's kind of a revenge tour for us. You know, they've beat us in the championship twice, so it's kind of time for us to really take back what we think we deserve. So, and then always fun, the McDonogh-Gilman game. You know, a big atmosphere, big crowd. Definitely a game you don't want to miss. See my senior day, depending on how the season goes. So that would be one for the books.
Okay. And so wrap up here in the camera by telling us the thing that you like most about Michigan.
Yeah.
As we speak right now, what do you like most? And what is the biggest question that you have about Michigan as we sit here right now?
So I think my biggest thing I like is how, I kind of talked about it earlier, how you get the best of both worlds. You can be the #1 team in the country, but also get a degree that can take you wherever you want. That's probably the biggest thing for me. And then my biggest question is, what are you gonna do today that's gonna help you beat Ohio State?
Okay, all right. Nick Abrams, man, appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider.